Everyone, again, thank you for watching. This is Blackfish Part 3. We may have actually a fourth, we're not sure yet, but I want to go into Part 3 and explain further how this animal that we don't really understand became a vicious killer and did what it did. So we're going to go right now into Part 3. Here we go. Now, when you have tension between animals that's ongoing, what you're going to have is problems. You don't see this problem in captivity, but you saw this when they're working at SeaWorld. And whales have died in captivity, killed each other. Lots and lots of misinformation. Knowledge that they had, felt if they left, who would take care of the animal. You begin to believe, in a sense, the nonsense. I've done that. People watching this have done that. You begin to believe. Please, question, 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 question. So many times I have diagnoses he sent to me, were brought to me. I do a lot of reviewing of different charts, different facilities, different cases. And I'm like, who put this down? This is crazy. You got to ask. You got to grow. You got to think, does this make sense? Does this have any credence? Does this flow? Now, here's another thing. Another trainer got hurt. An animal leaped out over the water onto him, literally crushed him. A massive animal, and no one wanted to comprehend, no one wanted to believe that this animal, this killer whale again, could be aggressive. They didn't share with this the video. They didn't share it to the other trainers. And no one looked to learn and understand what was going on. No one puts clues together. Okay, when I'm working with people, when I'm doing clinical therapy, when I'm doing clinical social work, when I'm doing, sessions, I got to ask all kinds of questions. I got to comprehend everything that's going on. And people were like, another trainer got hurt badly, broke her arm in multiple places. 70 plus training accidents. Trainers knew nothing. And the doctor said that no one put two together, because here's what also happened. If you complain too much, you're capable of being replaced. So people were afraid for their jobs. If I say too much, going on, I'm not going to have a job. Not a good idea, not very smart to run a business that way, but that's how people are looked upon as expendable. You complain, you question, you put two and two together, you look at clues, you're gone. But here, as a clinical social worker, as a therapist, I have to do this all the time. I look for links, from here to here to here to here. Why is a person doing what they're doing? What's going on with this coconut that's making this person do this to now do this? Frown, unhappy. What's going on? I ask a million questions. When you're going to go for an assessment, you're going to go for a diagnosis from a doctor, from a psychologist, from a social worker. Ask questions. Don't be intimidated. Ask. These people did not, for a lot of different reasons. Ignorance, apathy, no one cared, but you have to ask questions. Now, here's another thing also. Another trainer was dragged to the bottom of the pool. The animal was clever enough to take him 1 foot at a time, bring him down. But the trainer, thank God, was a good swimmer, could hold his breath together and stay calm under severe trauma, and was eventually able to make it out. And the whale came at him, charged, and he said, "Oh, look, our program works. The guy's in charge. The guy's a good trainer. He's an excellent swimmer. He followed protocol." But in the water, the whale was saying, "In the water, I am in charge. I'm the one you got to be afraid of. I'm the huge monster." Didn't get that. Once again, where's the thinking of in the water? This animal is a top predator. It's off the chain. Oh, he followed protocol. Again, there was no pregame. There was no postgame. That's another thing also I want to share. If you don't grow, you stay stagnant. You don't move. The act becomes old. The act becomes tired because nothing changes. All right? A lot of times they would say, it would seem. What does that even mean, it would seem? No one was there to go to. There's no expert. I've evaluated students where I've done practicum work for a long time. Why? So people can ask me questions on what's going on, and I could share with them so they have an awareness of what they need to know so they can take care of themselves in the field when they're dealing with complex problems involving patients. When you don't have a person to go to, like your mentor, your chief, and then never was brought out. The trainers seemed to be like, who was training the trainers? There was like a lot of trainers, but there was no like trainees. Everyone was a trainer, but no one was getting ongoing training. don't be afraid to get that second opinion, and always think. And you're forced to grow up because, just like with mental health, the trainers began to realize something is not kosher here, something doesn't make sense. Okay, now, here's another thing I want to share also. Other incidents would follow. A homeless guy was killed. Who was the guy that did the killing? Not the guy, the animal. Tilikum. Homeless guy climbed a tank. How? It's still under investigation. Big mystery. Hush hush. Very secret. Tilikum ripped the guy apart. Swimming in that water. That dead body's floating. I am the apex predator in my circle. You come into my water, things can happen badly. Now, here's a question. Why keep an animal like this around if it's that dangerous? As always, everything is always about the money. He is not the sperm bank. He is the sperm king. Okay, his sperm is worth its weight in gold. So in normal breeding, you never breed an aggressive animal. But here in SeaWorld, Tilikum is more than half of all the babies born. Tilikum is the de facto baby daddy, mama, father. Here's the problem. Genetically, you put in an aggressive whale and you put the sperm genetically in other whales, mommies that give birth to Tilikum offspring, you're creating a breed of super aggressive, paranoid, suspicious, unhappy, unable to relate young killer orca baby whales. You're creating a sea of violence and destruction. Anyone think about that? Clearly not. Now, the story also, there was a place in Spain, Canary Islands, called Loro Parque, if I'm saying that correctly, Loroparque, largest tourist attraction in Spain. They sent 4 orcas there, with the trainers had no experience, ongoing medical problems, the animals were always getting sick, only didn't want to spend the money to fix the place up and take care of the animals well. Didn't have a good reputation. Trainers were getting hurt. The trainers themselves were saying, I'm worried what's going to happen to me. So, in the United States, Suzanne Alley said this is a tragedy waiting to happen. Boom, a trainer was attacked and killed. Their best, owner said it's an accident. David, and in the trial itself, we talked about that. Dave Duffus, D-U-F-F-U-S, the expert said SeaWorld denied that they owned the place, that attraction, and that it was their whales. But here's the thing, too. Once you start getting to the point where you begin to believe, you want to believe, that's when you start to get burned. And you have to grow up. You have to question everything. I have to take into account everything that's going on with somebody. When I do an assessment, it's so thorough. I question childhood. I question school. I question acquaintances. I question, work. I question any kind of, prior history. There's so many things to ask. Question. What's going on with this person? So I get a better read on this person and I do a pregame and I do a postgame. So before the person comes on board, I figure out what's going on with the person prior, reading everything I can, and then I do what's called a postgame. I go over in my head, what did I learn from doing my assessment? They never talked about doing a pre and post game, working with these animals after every show. Never existed. You got to do that. Ongoing training is critical. Now, here's another thing. As a social worker, I'm so much better than I was 20 years ago when I first started. Why? Push myself. If you're looking for a therapist, you want to get a therapist that has experience, that has said to you, can say to you, I understand this disorder. I went to a training on autism. I have experience in depression. I can do light hypnosis. I can work with sex offenders, blah, 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 blah. But get somebody that has experience. You're wasting your time with somebody that can't give you concrete answers or gives you nonsense as a diagnosis. Now, here's the thing also. You realize that the trainers are also told, you got to do a good show. Now, this last one where he killed the female trainer, he was not responding to cues. He was upset. He was angry. He was having an off day. As human beings, we have an off day. We go home. We go home early. We call in sick. We take a nap. We get a Coke. Take a walk around the parking lot. We talk with our friends. We do some flirting. These animals never had a break. It was like showtime, 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 showtime. Grind them, grind them, grind them. You grind somebody in life, they explode. This animal was saying, I'm not on my game today. Why am I doing these stupid tricks? Why am I going around the tank over and over again? Let me just get a nap. Let me just go out in the ocean for a couple hours. Clear my head. That was never allowed to happen. And that's why these animals lost it. It makes so much sense to me. Now, here's the thing. It said that she's not respond, did not hear the whistle, running out of food. Animals know that food is running out. Here's how smart these animals are. And I watched it several times. The trainer said that the animals knew that when the ice in the bucket, they had these little buckets filled with ice and fish, for this fish to get, I guess stale, they would be, get done. They knew when they could hear the clink clink at the bottom of the container, of the bucket. And they would change, they said, uh-oh, the fish are going to be less. We need this food, and I'm still hungry. And all of a sudden, they're realizing not enough food. And you think to yourself, SeaWorld cannot afford backup buckets of fish with ice in them? Hey, we're low. Here's a bucket. You realize they're only budgeted for like 1 or 2 containers of fish. And after that was over, that was over. So even to say, look, you're hungry, here. How many times did I work with patients, with people that they didn't have their basic needs met? So I got them a burger, I got them a Coke, I got them a bag of chips. I brought over some vegetables. They're hungry. I went to a shelter. I got a couple of bags of bread, some loaves of food, just loaves of fish, whatever it was. Something. They're hungry. They need something. They need the basics because you can't engage in therapy if you're not getting your basic needs met. That's for a child, an adult, and even for, quote, quote, that killer whale. Okay, so what I want to say is this, and I'm going to close with this. And I'm going to have a 4th part, which I want to break down the diagnosis. I'm going to need some time to do it. He said this. You start to lose it, you get angry, there's no more food. Frustrated, he follows her, he drags her in. Went from play to mutilation in a second. But he wasn't really playing. He was angry. And they set her up by putting her out there where she didn't have a chance to, in a sense, to protect herself. And the trainer made a comment. Another trainer said, it's a reality of how powerless we truly are. And Dave, the guy who was the expert on killer whales, made a comment. 20 years apart, 20 years. I'm putting up 2 fingers. They learned nothing. And that they didn't grow from this. You didn't grow. And if you don't grow, you're going to make the same mistake over and over and over again. Now, what I want to clarify is this. Before I go, we're going to cut this one. You got to realize nothing happens in a vacuum. Okay, people do things for reasons. Whenever someone asks me, why did someone explode? Why did somebody lose it? Why did somebody go crazy? There's a reason for it, because something is wrong in their life. Problems in their marriage, problems with their kids, problems with their own health, problems with their own, mental capacity. There's reasons why we do things. The goal of this video today is for the first time to give you a chance, all the ones we've been making so far, is think. Ask questions. Take charge of your own life. Take charge of the life of the ones that you love. And don't be afraid to ask questions. You got to do that. It's so critical. And we want to give people the chance, the empowerment of people to say, wow, I'm getting some good feedback. I'm getting some good ideas. I know which way I have to go. I'm going to close here. I'm going to stop here. I'm going to do actually the 4th part next time. I'm going to actually give Tilikum a diagnosis, mental health-wise. I'm going to break it all down, put it all together, get a culmination, and we're good to go from there. Thank you all for watching. And if you enjoy our videos, you like what we're doing, Sunridge of Nevada, please comment. If you have any questions, any ideas, any thoughts, good or bad, we want to hear from you. But Sunridge of Nevada, to look at more videos, leave more comments, and ask us any kind of questions you have. Thanks, everybody.